As students return to the classroom, school safety is a top concern. It's a team effort between school staff, parents, students, and law enforcement to maintain a safe school environment. By staying informed and involved, everyone can contribute to a secure and supportive atmosphere for all students. To address these issues, I have Mark Roberts, the school resource officer, with me from the Lafayette Police Department to talk more. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks, Stacy. I'm pleased to be here today.
Well, it's always a pleasure. He's a friend too.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know there's a lot of police presence right now in school zones.
Absolutely. Before school and after school, speed limits automatically get marked down to a 20-mile-an-hour zone. That's to slow people down because kids are typically walking to and from school. So you'll see officers making traffic stops, if nothing else, just to remind people, hey, kids are back. We go to school a little bit earlier now, not quite as bright as what it was maybe a few weeks ago.
True.
And not all kids look when they dart out into traffic, so you always just have to be aware of that.
That's exactly right. And I know there's different times right now. People
Correct.
are adjusting to the different times, that 3-tier schedule, is that
Yes,
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I think that's a positive thing, the 3-tier schedule, but you just have to remember with the high schoolers and junior high kids walking, you may see kids a little earlier than what you're accustomed to.
And they take risks too. I know how kids are. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think I can cross, but
And they may not look both ways.
No.
They may just walk out into traffic.
that's exactly right. So as far as safety at schools, I know the Lafayette Police, they do a lot of training to make sure that schools are secure
Yes.
and safe. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Well, as a police department, one of our main objectives is making sure our buildings are safe. You know, over the last several years, you just watch TV and find out all the bad things that go on in the schools. And LPD, you know, with starting at Chief Galloway, is very, very committed to school safety. And we have teams in place to try to, do our best to make sure every kid is safe when they walk through the doors.
In case there's an emergency. I know they have to train for that, the SWAT team, and
Yeah.
along with a lot of other
We
police
train there
officers.
when school's not in session. We do a lot of training. So that way the officers who aren't really familiar with the school get an opportunity to be inside and become more familiar.
So let's talk about social media. That's a big thing right now. Kids bullying each other on the phone, and then kids getting depressed, anxiety. There's so much for you guys to think about as law enforcement officers.
There is. And social media, when we were in school, we didn't have it. So it's hard for us to say, well, I know what you're going through.
True.
But with social media, kids are going to say things that they wouldn't say to somebody's face because it's easier to type it and send it. And kids just aren't very nice sometimes. So as a parent, and we're both parents, we have to be under the understanding, hey, you may have to check your kid's phone, or you may have to know what your kids are doing on social media. Because there's a lot of people outside of, out in the community that we would call predators, and that's how they find their victims, is social media.
That is true, and it's real important if there's something going on at school to make sure you tell a teacher or a principal or an officer like yourself. Don't be afraid to do that.
Our motto is, if you see something, say something.
Okay,
And I think that's real simple.
That's a good way to end it. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Mark, for coming in. You'll have to come in again and chat with me.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right, thank
All
you.
right, now we're going to turn it to the weather with David.